Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to talk to you today about something that's very important. We're not going to have the video camera on me because I'm going to show you my screen, and this is a very serious warning, okay? Now, we've been talking about storing food, been talking about a lot of things, but there's an old saying that by the time it's in the news, it's too late, okay? And when I talk about some really gnarly things coming in the very near future, and I'm talking about in the year 2022, I couldn't be more serious. And we're going to talk about economics right now. Okay. And if you haven't been seeing what's going on, and the reason why I pulled this up, and this story came from an awesome subscriber friend of mine, Andrew. He's been with me since the very beginning. He's actually been all over the country with me, and he's an awesome guy. Loves freedom, loves preparedness, loves helping people. And he brought me this story. So thanks, Andrew, for this. It's in CNBC right now. Jamie Dimon says, brace yourself for the economic hurricane caused by the Fed and Ukraine war. Now, the other reason why I want to bring this up is it's actually hitting the trending search in Twitter. And I know a lot, I'm going to tell you guys right now, first off, there's a lot of this stuff right here. It's actually not trending. Okay. It's fake. It's not real. Okay. They get paid to do this. That's a whole nother video. This is a legit trending topic right now. And I want you to understand that we do not have a whole lot of time left. We're going to go over what he talks about. I'm going to talk to you about that. And then we're going to talk about how to protect yourself from that. Okay. As we see right now, we're nominally down in the stock market. It's really not much. Let's talk about this. Okay. I'm going to break this down for you guys. It says right now, he's saying, brace yourself for an economic hurricane caused by the Fed and Ukraine war, but there's a lot more to it. He says there are two main factors that Dimon has Dimon worried. So-called quantitative tightening, or QT, is scheduled to begin this month. All right. So let me explain that for those of you that don't understand. I'm going to break this down to very easy terms. The Federal Reserve has certain assets on its books. Okay. These are bad assets. The reason why they're bad, they're bad because they made it onto the Fed books. The only reason the Federal Reserve buys or monetizes certain types of debt is because it's in trouble, okay? And the market was puking it out, so they have to pick it up and put it on their balance sheet. They have now decided that they're going to start doing what's called quantitative tightening, where they're not making money that easily or readily available to the markets, okay? So they're starting to sell the assets that they have on the books. And I use assets, the term, very loosely, okay? So stick with me here. So they're about to start to, you could call it, flood the market with these crappy deals. And it's not good, okay? Because a lot of people do not understand the fact that we have been living in a bubble since the year 2001. We've went through two bubble, two bubble expansions. One drained down, from the years 2007 to 2010, but now we've blown up something even bigger and scarier. Okay. And again, we're going to get to how you can help yourself at the end. So he says that's one thing that he's worried about. Also, and the ramp up to 95 billion a month in reduced bond holdings. So again, the Fed has been holding bonds, propping up the bond market as well. And this is the first time what you just experienced within the last 90 days of the stock market correcting and the bond market correcting at the same time. That has not happened in 50 years. And there's many videos I've done talking about 7 and 10 year economic cycles and how they relate to 50 and 100-year economic cycles. Okay. And we are in a very, very big correction cycle right now. Okay. So it says the other large factor worrying Dimon is the Ukraine war and the impact on commodities, including food and fuel. Oil could hit $150 to $175 a barrel. So I want you to understand this. He is 100% right with that, because right now, geopolitically, there's so many threats impacting the supply chain. And he is right about the $150 to $175 a barrel. And I want to remind you, regardless of what you think about this guy, they're not in the business of being wrong, especially because they can control the strings. Okay. I want you to understand that. I'm going to be doing some videos about how JP Morgan and other banks have been hit before, from like even storing grains in massive silos to help pump up the price, or holding it when they know that it's going to go up in value, only to sell it back to the people at higher prices. Okay. There's a lot going on here. Now it says here, he quoted as saying, "You better brace yourself." Dimon told a room full of analysts and investors. JP Morgan is bracing ourselves, and we're going to be very conservative with our balance sheet. The reason why he's doing that is because he knows something he learned in a very valuable lesson in 2008. And that is, if you're the most solvent out of a bunch of unsolvent banks, you get to buy up all the great assets of the insolvent banks and then throw away the rest and hand them to the Federal Reserve. And again, I'm trying to really skim the surface for a lot of people that don't understand how this works, but it's very, very important. And when you see it trending on Twitter, I'm telling you, certain news media outlets pick up this stuff and it gets out to the masses. And we're trying to get you this information as fast as we can, because it's like, well, what do I do? All right, here's the deal. I'm going to explain this, and not a lot of people are going to understand this. Today, gold, very small up, right? But we've seen it come off of its recent highs. Silver as well. You know, gold was sitting, I don't remember what it peaked at. I want to say like $2,000 or around there about 90 days ago, right? Let's pull it back here. Here we go. Here's the peak, $2,043. So a lot of people say, oh, gold's down. Well, it's really not. If you think about it in the long term, let's look at the last 5 years. On a percentage basis, gold has done very, very well. In the last 5 years, we've seen a low of around $1,200 and a peak of around 2,000. So if you compare the percentage basis, it's done extremely well, right? But in the small term, like in the last year, you look back, you're like, nah, it's not doing that great. The point is this: everything sells off during a market correction. Everything, paper, gold, and silver contracts, everything, stocks, and it turns into chaos, right? And I've been told a very important quote, and I'm going to probably butcher it, but it's essentially, he who is the most solvent or is able to hold on to the most amount of money as everything's crashing wins, because what happens is everything goes on sale, right? So my point being is that you need to hedge yourself. Well, what do wealthy people do? They hedge with gold and silver, right? Because the reason why is they're monetary metals. Over the long haul, if you look at it, like what happened in the late 70s, and we can't pick up, I don't think we could pick up a chart of I don't think it goes back that far. Yeah. What did it do? Well, let's go back to something even easier. 2008. This is very, very important for you to understand. From 2006, silver was at a little under $9. It peaked around $18, right? But you see this sharp decline. This was paper contracts. But if you bought physical metal in that amount of time, physical coins, the cost of that coin, when you paid 20, $21 for it, when the paper price crashed down because of the Lehman Brothers event, you still could not find a silver eagle for under $20. Nobody would sell it to you because it was so scarce, and all the coin shops knew what they had in their hand, right? But this is the most important part. When you look at the stock market didn't drop and hit this bottom at this point. The stock market kept falling for well over 6 to 8 months. And then it bottomed, and it took a long time for it to really grab steam. But if you look at this date right here, look at the bottom, 9 of 2008. You couldn't have timed that any better with the Lehman crash, right? And look what happened. As they started to print money, it exploded for a multi-year tirade, right? Well, if you do the same thing back with gold, you find the exact same story. Silver did way better. It always does on a percentage basis. But if you pull back to this oh, that gives you a much better picture. But let's do this. 2008. Here's the bottom, right here. Bottomed here. $914 around there, around the bottom, right? And then when they started printing money, it exploded for a multi-year run. That's what you're going to see. So you need to look at it that way, because right now premiums are exploding on coins because there's only so much. I think the worldwide gold and silver, there's only about 10% of all the gold and silver worldwide are actually available in physical form. So if you guys want metal to save yourselves or get prepared for this, and you're not looking at these small little up, down, things like that, then I've got some links below, companies that I've done business with for a long time. Some I've done business with for over 10 years. I'll show you guys that, because it's important to get in business and buy from the proper people. So lastly, I want to show you, and we're going to dive back to this. Again, when this is on the front page right here, people are going to start running to prepare themselves. And that's why I think it's very important. It's one thing to prepare with food, but you can only have so much food, right? And my thing right now is to have between 6 months and a year of food for your family. And then think about your friends, have some on the side if people are really hurting, to help them out. Because what I want to see you guys do is not only survive, but thrive. I don't want this guy buying up all the companies for pennies on the dollar. I want you to. And I cannot stress that enough. Today is the day to start thinking like a billionaire. The prepping community and people that have been preparing financially for this crash have something that 97% of the world do not. And that is a special type of personality, a special type of gene or something inside of them that they are able to think longer term. And I want you to start thinking bigger. It's not about surviving, guys. It's about owning the companies. You have a good heart. You have a solid mind. I want you running these big companies. I don't want these people running those companies anymore. I want you, Ninja Nation. It is a group of people that are around the world that are getting prepared, and they are not scared. Not only are they not scared, you are excited, because these are the times you will make more money in a down market than in a good market. But if you don't have your food set aside, if you don't have gold and silver set aside, if you are trying to get out of debt right now, you are going to lose. And I do not want you to lose. I want you to win. It is time to wake up and replace this with you. I'm not joking, guys. Dream bigger, think bigger. This is the time. With that being said, I thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out.